right, so we're going to look at kind of using what we know about sequences and tie it into word problems. All righty, so let's say I bought a house, $350,000. Okay, it increases by 4% every year, and we want to know how much it's worth in 5 years or 20 years. Okay. So an important thing to note, when we're increasing by a percentage, our multiplier is always 1 plus or minus the percentage. So in this case, okay, whenever we're using a percentage, we're multiplying by the same amount each time. All right, and so what that does is our multiplier in this example is going to be 1 plus, we have to write the percentage as a decimal, which in this case is 0.04. So our multiplier is going to be 1.04. So using our equation from earlier in the chapter, we have a sub 0, which is our starting value. And then R is our generator or our multiplier. So if we wanted to come up with an equation to determine how much our house is going to be worth in X amount of years, our equation would be T of n equals 350,000 times 1.04 raised to the nth power. So to find out how much it's worth in 5 years, plug in 5 for n. We get a value of $425,828.52. In 20 years, same thing, we're plugging it in for n. Plug in 20. So in 20 years, if it continues to increase by 4% every year, then the value is $766,893.10. Okay, same type of problem, a little bit different. I buy a truck for 30 grand. Okay, but vehicles decrease in value over the next 30 years. Sorry, decrease in value by 2% every year. Okay, so we want to determine how much the truck's going to be worth in 3 years and in 10 years. So, very similar, but since it's decreasing, would we want to find our multiplier? It's 1 minus our percentage. Okay, so 2% written as a decimal is 0.02. Okay, so our multiplier is 0.98. So very common misconception is that when something's decreasing in value, a lot of people struggle with coming up with the multiplier. Like I said, it's always 1 plus or minus your percentage, depending on if you're increasing or decreasing in value. In this case, you're decreasing, so it's 1 minus your percentage. So same thing. If we want to find out how much it's worth in 3 years, we plug in 3 for n. Obviously, you need a calculator. Find out how much it's worth in 10 years, same equation. Okay, so after 3 years, your truck's worth $28,235.76. After 10 years, it's worth $24,512.18. Okay, so that kind of scenario is where we're multiplying by the same number each time. That's why it's geometric. Okay, take a look at an arithmetic type example. Okay, so let's say you have $50 in your piggy bank and you add $12. Should be a 12. Kind of looks like a 2. You had $12 every week from your allowance. Okay, how much have you saved in 10 weeks, 20 weeks? Okay, so now you have to identify that you are adding the same amount each week. Okay, since you are adding the same amount each week, it should be arithmetic. Okay, remember T of n equals dn plus c, where d is your generator C is your starting value. So to write our equation, T of n equals 12n plus 50. Okay, you're adding $12 each week, and you started with 50 from the beginning. So T of 10 equals 12 times 10 plus 50. Which I believe is 170. And if you wanted to find how much you'd have after 20 weeks, same thing, except you're plugging in 20 for n. So after 10 weeks, you'd have 170. After 20 weeks, you'd have 290. Okay, so it's the same process as if you were just given the sequence, right? 50, 62, 74, so on and so forth. They're coming up with the equation like so. Okay, try this one on your own. So we have our equation. Since we're losing $10 a week, okay, we have negative 10 times n plus 400, okay, for that $10 we're losing each week. After 5 weeks, when we plug in 5, we should end up getting 350. And same thing for 10. We're basically down $100 at that point. So we should have T of 10 equaling 300. Okay, try one more just to make sure. Let's see. Okay, iPhone 12 has 10,000 pre-orders. Expects to sell 6% more each week. How many should they expect to sell in week 8 and week 20? Okay, so identify if it's arithmetic or geometric. Are you adding or multiplying between each term? And then make your equations. All right, not bad. Kind of tricky. But again, just being able to identify, usually if there's a percentage, okay, we should be using the geometric sequence. Okay, a sub 0 times r raised to the nth power. Okay, and then again, since you're selling 6% more, okay, converting percentages to decimals, right? You move it over twice. Okay, so 6% is really 0.06. So your multiplier should be 1 plus 0.06 or just 1.06. Okay, and then you have your starting value of 10,000 multiplied by 0.06 raised to n. So to find how many in 8 years or 8 weeks, plug that in into a calculator. Same thing with 20 years, 20 weeks, plug that into a calculator. All right.